Hi everyone, Carol from Carol's Vintage Treasures, and I thought today I would talk a little bit about selling record albums, or vinyl as the kids call it these days. Oh god, I just sounded really old. I like selling vinyl. It's easy to list, it's easy to ship, it's easy to prepare for sale. You do have to put a little bit of work into it. When you find these at the thrift store, they've not been cleaned, they're pretty dirty. So I will show you what I use to clean them with and the mailer that I use to mail them in. So what I do, in the store first, I will look at it. And if there are any deep scratches, I will not buy it. If I just see maybe some light scratching and it looks dirty, I will bring it home and try to clean it up and see how it looks. I get this on Amazon. This is just record cleaning fluid, and this is the brush that I clean the record with. So I just spray it on here like that. And then I will take the record and run this around it a few times. And this is good to have if you have a record collection of your own, because it helps the way the record sounds when it's playing if it's cleaner. So I just clean it like that with this. You just run it across the top like that. Flip it over, and then I put some more on it, and then I'll do it again a few times. Then I will take a closer look at it and see if it's sellable. As long as it doesn't have any really deep scratches, I usually say it's okay. Then I will play it to make sure it doesn't jump around and scratch or skip. I do have a little portable record player that I use. Those usually aren't too expensive. Mine was around $50, I think. And I got mine at Big Lots, but there aren't many Big Lots around anymore. So you got to kind of look online. You might find one online. But you can play a record while you're cleaning stuff, while you're listing, just to get an idea of whether or not it plays well. And then after I have it cleaned, I'll take pictures. I take a picture of the cover and of the back. This is Billy Joel. I love him. This is my own record album. I will not sell this one. Then I'll take a picture of the record itself so they can see it's in good condition. I will take the backgrounds out. I use my background remover. So the app is called Photo Room. You do have to pay for it, but I have found it's well worth it just to take the backgrounds out of the pictures. It makes it look much nicer. And I'll show you in the next section of this video what my listings look like. Some of the earlier ones I'm going to show you don't have the background removed. Some of the later ones do, so you can kind of see what they look like. But I am not endorsed by them. I just like using their app. So this is what the mailer looks like. I get these on Amazon. You can just search record mailers and it'll probably come up. So I put the album in it like this. First I'm going to put bubble wrap over it. I go one time this way and one time this way, and then I'll put it in the mailer and it fits just like that. Then you just fold these ends up. The side ones go first, and then this one goes last, and then you're going to tape it with your shipping tape. I tape mine here and here and here. So I make sure it's got plenty of tape on it so nothing happens to it. But you put your label right here, or if you have to cut it out and tape it here, that's where you would put it. And it's pretty easy. It's not that hard. So the tools I would recommend getting are the record player, the record cleaner, and the mailers. The mailers help a great deal. Just getting the proper size box and everything. So yes, Holly, I see you over there. She's watching me. So where I usually get my record albums from, I will go to shopgoodwill.com and look at auctions where they have older record albums, like from the era that I like. I like doing the 70s, 80s, 90s. Sometimes I'll go back to the 60s. It depends on the record album itself. Sometimes when I'm shopping in the thrift store, I will flip through the record albums to see if there's any good ones in there. It seems like lately they're pulling those though and sending them to their e-commerce site. So I think that's why I'm not finding a lot of them. I don't know if you're finding plenty of them in the thrift stores, at Goodwill anyway. And you can go to yard sales, you can go to estate sales. There are a lot of different places you can source from if you're going to sell record albums. So, but I usually get mine online now. I'll just look for Goodwill auctions. Usually what I'll do is I'll find an auction that's ending soon, and I'll just put my best and final in there and in the last few seconds of the auction. And if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. But anyway, you have to take into account the shipping and the handling and all that when you're doing an auction. And then how many record albums there are in the auction, and just divide that by your total cost to get your cost of goods. That's usually a good way to do it. And keep in mind, they don't look over the record albums very well. So you might have some that are not sellable in there. So make sure you have at least a few good ones in there that you know will sell well. And then you can go ahead and bid on it. But for the next portion of this video, I'm going to show you some sales that I've had recently on record albums so you can see what sells for me. I do sell on Etsy. I don't like eBay. I think I've said that before on my channel. It's just not a selling platform that I like to be on. So I chose Etsy. I will also sell on Poshmark if it's a newer item, but as long as it's 20 years old, I can sell it on Etsy. You want to come up here and say hello? Come on. You can say hi if you want to. Oh, it wouldn't be a video without Holly. Yeah, you like music too, don't ya? She is doing so much better. She had surgery a few weeks ago, if you're new to the channel, and she's doing great. She really is. She's healed up good. We just have to wait for your hair to grow back, right? Right. You're doing really well. So, very blessed to have her okay now. She had a tumor removed from her stomach, which was benign, but it was 6 pounds. So, she needed to have that gone. And I think she's getting around a lot better too now. She looks a lot more comfortable when she's laying on the hard floor. So, but if you... She's always got to put her 2 cents in. If you like selling vinyl, Etsy is a good place to do it if it's older. I do like selling there. I haven't had very many problems with people. I know I did sell on eBay a few years ago. I was actually a top seller. I just didn't like the lowball offers, and I didn't like the way people would try to get things for free, and it just wasn't for me. And on Etsy, you get a lot of collectors there, you get a lot of people that don't do that kind of stuff. So I prefer my Etsy crowd. So just personal preference. If you sell on eBay and it works for you, great. But just wanted to share a few of my tips with you. Next portion of this video, I'm going to show you a few of the record albums that sold for me recently, so you can see what's selling for me. And stay right there. That video is coming up soon. So for this part of the video, I'm just going to show you a few record albums that I've sold recently and how much they sold for, just so you can get kind of an idea of what's selling for me. It might be completely different for you, but it gives you some kind of idea. This is a Johnny Mathis album that I sold for $16.79. It was from 1986. It was a Christmas album, sold around Christmas time. So the older albums can sell. Depends if they have a following, what time of year it is, things like that. This sold pretty well for $16.79. I think I only paid a couple of dollars for it. Actually, no, I probably paid less than that because this I think I got in an auction of record albums. So, not too bad. Next thing I have to show you is a Donnie and Marie album. This is from their television show back in the 70s, and it sold for $18.39. Things like this are pretty nostalgic for people, especially people that grew up watching, certain things. I watched the Osmonds when I was a teenager. I really like them a lot, so I'll collect their albums and stuff because I know they still have a following and people really like them. So next thing I have to show you, this was I got this in an auction of stuff. It was record albums from the 70s and 80s, a Shop Goodwill auction. And it sold for $19.99. It did take a while to sell. Something like this. It's Amazing Rhythm Aces. I never heard of them. I never listened to them. So I didn't know if this was going to sell at all. But I went ahead and listed it, and it turns out someone was looking for it. So that's good. It's from 1976. It was a good sale. Next thing is this Carpenters album. Sold for $19.99. The Carpenters are pretty popular. When I find their items, I'll pick it up if it's in good condition. You just have to look at the album and make sure there aren't any deep scratches. Make sure the cover is in good condition. If not, make sure you take good pictures of the damage on it so people know. Sometimes people buy record albums for their artwork and they want to make sure that the cover is in good condition. So if it's not, just be honest and take good pictures, show it in your listing, and you shouldn't have a problem. Next thing I have to show you is this Elvis Presley in concert album. It was a 2-record set. It sold for $22.39. Elvis, anything really sells really good for me. This was from 1977. There were some pretty cool pictures in the center there. The album cover itself was worn and had some damage. So $22.39, not too bad. The album itself was in pretty good condition. Next thing I have to show you is a Judy Garland album. This sold for $22.39. Judy Garland at Carnegie Hall. Sometimes the older albums will sell, sometimes they won't. You just gotta take a look at how many are listed. on the platform you're selling on. And you can look at the solds on eBay. I usually don't do that because I don't sell on eBay. I sell on Etsy. And I will look at what people are pricing them on Etsy. And I'll try to come down about in the middle, not at the highest, not at the lowest. And I'm usually running a sale in my store too, so I take that into account. But this one sold for $22.39, pretty good. And this was from 1961. Next was a really recent sale. I sold this just a couple of weeks ago. Andy Gibb album sold for $23.99. People are very nostalgic about their teen idols. Somebody like this, he died very young. People really have a lot of sentimental feelings about him. So $23.99 I sold for this one. It was Shadow Dancing, if you remember that little tune. Right. Next one I have to show you is another Osmonds. This is the Osmond Brothers. This is Crazy Horses. Sold for $23.99. This album was actually banned on some record stations because they thought that they were talking about drugs in their album, but they weren't. It's kind of a weird story. Okay. Next thing that sold was this Sesame Street album with the original cast from 1970. Sold for $27.99. I thought this was a pretty neat album. This came in an auction group also. So went ahead and listed it, and it sold pretty well. Next thing is another Elvis album. This sold for $30.39. Moody Blue. It is from 1977, and the album itself actually was blue, so that was pretty cool. It did have some damage. I always show pictures of the damage so people know. And that is it. That's what I have to show you. I just pulled up about 10 of my record sales so you could see what's selling for me. I like selling record albums. They're pretty easy to list. They're pretty easy to ship once you get the hang of it. I know it looks scary at first, but it's not that hard. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what your experience is with selling record albums. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care.